I recently became one of the lucky few people to receive an exclusive preview of a brand new independent title coming out later this month from a brand new independent publishing company. I had a whole video planned, but then I read it, the preview that is, and I had a change of heart. And my whole video changed. Stay tuned, I'll explain more. Hello out there to all my friends in YouTube land. It is your good buddy Philtastic Phil here, and I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. Before I get into the independent title, I'm actually going to work a little bit backwards in this video. I'm going to start by recognizing my Philtastic friends who successfully identified the hashtag password in our last video. Those Philtastic friends are Brian LCS, Wahoo Comics, White Mojo Wolf, J80 Hobbies, A Comic Bookworm, Master and Madam Blaster, Kenneth Bird, Catfan Comic Man, Neil's Comics and Video Games, and Where'd You Get That? I'm going to also put links to all of these channels in the description of this video, and I encourage you to check out my Philtastic friends here who, again, I successfully identified that hashtag phrase. Now, I'm doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to bring this up now before we get into our topic. I am not going to have a hashtag comment for this video, so you don't have to worry about commenting to get recognition or anything. Although, if you find what I'm saying is interesting, or if you like the comic that I'm going to talk about today, or if you just want to comment, I highly encourage you to still do so. My next video, which is going to come out later in this week, I'm going to have a little bit of a giveaway revolving solely around the comments. So I didn't want to blur it up too much. Stay tuned for that. As I said in the introduction to this video, I recently became one of the lucky few people to get my hands on a special 7-page ashcan preview of this new independent title coming out later this month, Isolation, which is the first venture from SWOLDER Publishing. Isolation is written by Doug Bratton, who, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know I've spoken about Doug and his brother Dave. Great guys. I've attended their comic book garage sale, and you've seen videos on that, of course, as well, and they're on my IG, of course, as well, too. Art by Delia Gunderson, who I was unfamiliar with before this project, but judging what I've seen so far, great artist. She's a graduate of the Kubert School, right around the corner here. And as I said, it's the first venture from SWOLDER Publishing, which is Reggie Simmons, Reggie Collects. I'm a big fan of Reggie. That's one of the YouTube channels I watch almost daily, probably daily at this point. And you've seen I've gotten a couple of his SWOLDER supply boxes and a couple other shipments from Reggie. This was quite a nice surprise. I actually won this on one of his live streams, and I was very excited to take a look at this, and I knew that it was a top secret project. This is about as much as I'm allowed to show you, and I'm only allowed to explain a little bit of what's inside of here. And when I say allowed, I'm not going to get arrested or anything like that. It doesn't look like the instructions aren't a legally binding contract or anything like that, but looking at this, it's apparent that your average comic doesn't come to you with instructions or with anything like that. In fact, many major comics that you get now are spoiled before they even hit the stores. And I had planned to do kind of like a funny little video where I was going to pretend like I was opening up the book to show you the interiors, then I was going to have like my son jump in the way so you couldn't see it, or I was going to either explain something about the plot and either have something voiceover, go over my voice rather, so that you couldn't hear what I was saying, or just explain something that make it sound totally different, like a Die Hard film or something like that. But after reading this, it was apparent that that wasn't the way to go. And I'm sure that Doug, Reggie, Delia, and everybody involved in the book wouldn't mind if I did something like that. But looking at this, it's apparent a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of passion went into this project. So at the risk of sounding disrespectful, I decided against doing that. Instead, I'm going to give you just a straight-up kind of impression of what I've read. I will say, I have one complaint, and this doesn't give anything away. And I don't know how this happened, but my copy came with a little dent in it there. And I don't know how this happened because Reggie packs his stuff exquisitely. better than any UPS store or FedEx store I've ever gone to. It hasn't, except for me reading it, it hasn't really left this. And I mean, as you can see, I even wore my gloves, or my coffee drinking gloves, as Matt Woods pointed out on the live stream the other day, while taking a look at it. And, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just a minor thing. That's just going to bug me until I forget about it, of course. But enough about that. Let me tell you about Isolation. So it is going to be an ongoing mystery title with different kind of horror themes, from what I understand in it. It does have, at least this little preview, a touch of noir, but it's not overly done, and it's not in the same manner like you would read in a Sin City. It's not going to knock you over the head with any kind of vulgarity or anything like that. It almost kind of feels like, to be honest with you, it feels a little bit more cinematic, I would say, than a Sin City or any other recent kind of mysteries I've read, or horror mysteries, I should say, like Gideon Falls, for example. Something like this, when I was looking through the pages, I felt like I was watching either like an old black and white action movie, or even something like kind of like a Twin Peaks type of vibe. But I'll say this: the interiors are beautifully done. It's done in a black and white style that, when you say black and white, again, I guess a lot of people would draw the similarity to Sin City, again, being in a straight black and white. But no, this is much more, I don't want to say, I don't really know the best way to put it. I have to say maybe it's more painterly, and it gives it a nice kind of a soft effect that really kind of works with the shadow in it. And to be honest with you, what I've read in the story so far, it really seems like it's going to be an eerie type of mystery, and that black and white effect that's done in here so well that I wish I could show you, but I can't, really kind of feeds into that eeriness. The cover, I have to say, is just simply stunning. I really liked this. It kind of reminded me, I'm trying to get it without glare, constant failing me here. It kind of reminded me of something like you'd see from David Mack, or I'm probably going to mispronounce this guy's name. He's very similar to David Mack as well. Alex Gadios. I think actually Bendis did a couple projects with him, including Pearl, if I'm not mistaken. And even a little bit like a Mike Del Mundo, not so much in the execution, but the vibrancy. You get, again, these very kind of vibrant colors across a straight black cover. It's very eye-popping and nicely done, very sleek. Now, this is just a small preview, issue number 1. What I will tell you is that it kind of has a feel to it, at least in my opinion, of if you've played the very first Resident Evil game, that feeling when you first walk into the mansion before any kind of zombies or anything like that pop up, because I don't think that's the direction they're going with this at all. But it has that kind of eerie kind of feeling to it. And I haven't given anything away from the story. I'm just trying to give you basically my first impression. Again, this is going to be an ongoing series. Right now you can get your copies of issue number 1 from ReggieCollects.com, and there's also a listing of several LCSs on Reggie's website. So if you don't want to order it online, or if you're near one of these LCSs, go ahead and go to them. I'd encourage you to do so. As you know, look, I just ran a whole contest called #LoveYourLCS. If you could go out into a store and get it, I highly recommend that you do. I will say this, though. If you go to ReggieCollects.com and you click on Isolation, you do have your option to pick one of several different variant covers. I should know. I've picked up all of the ones that I can pick up. The only one I can't get, at least not yet, is one that they announced is going to be exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con. That's right. Reggie and Doug are going to, and I guess Delia as well, is going to San Diego Comic-Con. If you're going there, say hello, tell them Philtastic sent you. That being said, I might have to try to bribe Doug with a little bit of Denville Dairy to see if he can snag one of those covers for me. So as I said, this is going to be an ongoing series. You could go to ReggieCollects.com or go to any of the supporting LCSs to get. I've had the opportunity to speak to a couple independent comic book creators in my time. In fact, you'll see an interview with one later this week. And one thing is for certain, and one thing I should say I always appreciate admire when I talk to an independent creator, they're putting their all into this. It's easy to be, I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's one thing to be a guy to come around and say, I love Batman, now I get to play in that Batman toy box. Then it's, this is my story. It might feel similar to other things, but this is uniquely my story. This is everything I've felt and thought about for some period of time, and I'm presenting it to you. And that's why I decided to change up my approach. You know, again, I would never do anything disrespectful to a creator, and I know that Reggie and Doug, and I'd assume Delia as well, wouldn't take anything I did do as disrespectful if I decided to go more that funny route. But after looking at this letter and looking at this, I knew that it demanded, I think, a different level of care. Isolation will be published at some point this month. I don't have an exact street date yet, but when it does, again, you could go to reggiecollects.com to get a copy. Pick up a couple variants. You know, I've picked up a few myself, as I said. Or if you're near these LCSs, go to these LCSs. And from what I understand, Reggie, Delia, and Doug are going to be doing some sort of a book tour. There haven't really been a whole lot of specifics announced yet. So I would say if you're interested in meeting the Isolation crew, the Isolation team, if you will, stay tuned to reggiecollects.com for more information on that. And with that, I want to thank you for checking out this video and for coming to see my channel. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already done. And leave a comment. Again, there's no giveaway or no call out, I should say, for this video. But stay tuned for later in the week. We're going to have a little bit of a giveaway going on here. And with that, thanks again for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your week, weekend, whenever. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.